On day 15, after having had a good breakfast at the Karijini Eco resort, we got on the road towards Dales Gorge, deciding to do the longer tarred route as opposed to a shorter dirt road. We'd been told that this dirt road was even worse than the 3-kilometer stretch we'd had to do in and out of the eco resort, and with our bikes now being fully loaded, we opted for the longer trip around on the tar road. We went via Dales Gorge area because we wanted to see as much of the gorges as we could, seeing as we'd come so far and this was meant to be the highlight of our trip. It was a bit of a detour, but the scenery there was quite spectacular and worth the extra travelling. Once we left Karijini behind and were on the Great Northern Highway, we thought that it would be the end of the gorges. So it was a very unexpected and nice surprise when we realized that the main road to Auski actually cut through some very lovely cliffs and gorge scenery. decided that we didn't want to do any more camping in the national park. That's the nice thing about not having a fixed itinerary. We can just do whatever we feel like doing without having to rush off to our next booking. The weather was turning cooler for the next few days, and we didn't have enough fuel to do much more riding around to any other gorges in the park, and also wouldn't make it all the way to Newman on our fuel. So we decided to head for a place called Auski village. It's right on the outskirts of the Karijini National Park. We phoned ahead from the resort and booked a night to ensure that we would have accommodation when we arrived there. So we arrived at Auski Resort, and this is what we were greeted with. Just lots of red dirt and lots of trucks. We managed to put fuel in, fortunately, and there's a restaurant here, and that's the reception over there, and then our bungalow is one of those flat green things in the background, but there's some nice mountains behind it, so we do have a bit of a view.
Interesting. Dusty. Yeah. So we're not quite finished with the dirt roads yet. I'm not sure where 7 is. It could be 11, 6, could be around there. Well, if this is 12, 11, 10, 9.
Auski is a very dusty truck stop, fuel station and roadhouse with accommodation. It was also the most northerly point of our entire trip. The burger and chips we had for dinner were really good, and the accommodation was comfortable and had everything we needed. The only issue we had there was that the water switched off when Phillip was halfway through his shower, and he wasn't too impressed about that. It was also quite noisy there during the night, with trucks coming and going, but we left the aircon fan blowing during the night to mask the noise. On day 16 of our trip, we weren't in any rush to get up in the morning, really enjoying being in a bed for a change, as we'd been camping for the past 5 nights. So we only moved our stuff out of the room at 10 a.m, which was the vacate time, and then went and had breakfast. We both ordered bacon and eggs with mushroom and tomato, but didn't realize what a big trucker's breakfast it would turn out to be. It kept us going for the whole day until dinner time. to Newman was uneventful, apart from 2 quite long stop-goes. The temperature didn't get much above 18 degrees, which was a pleasant riding temperature. We arrived in Newman about 2 p.m. and had booked one night in the hotel there. Having heard that Newman was a bit of a rough place, we decided to offload everything off our bikes. We went for a walk around the town and realized that they weren't exaggerating about it being a rough place. Many of the shops had broken windows, or the windows were boarded up, and there were a lot of people loitering around, so some areas really didn't feel safe at all. Everywhere we went, the shops and restaurants and even the hotel was complaining about staff shortages, and we wanted to go for a coffee, but the Dome was closed by 3 p.m. already due to staff shortages, we were told. It looked to us, however, that there were a lot of people loitering around that just didn't want to work. There was a laundromat at the hotel, so we got our washing done and tumble-dried most of it. Then went and had a very nice dinner in the hotel restaurant. Because we often don't manage to eat much fresh stuff when we are traveling, we tend to go a bit overboard, ordering extra veggies and things when we get to eat at a decent restaurant. Along the way, we'd seen so many dead cows, and we started counting them and then lost count when we got to about 30. When we got to the roadhouse, we saw this cap saying, "I made it to the Kumarina Roadhouse," and there's a picture of a cow on it with all these skeletons all along the road, so we thought that was quite appropriate. I had the best vegetarian burger I've ever had there. I must say I couldn't face meat after seeing all the roadkill. We left the roadhouse and had another short stop at what was called the South Branch of the Gascoyne River. This is a free stop and it was very pretty there. It had a nice dam And Phillip, of course, went looking for a campsite for us for the next time we're in the area, just so that we could have a free camp there. From this stop, it was just an hour to Karalundi, which is essentially an Aboriginal school with a shop and accommodation next door to the school, and all the proceeds go towards the running of the school. The guy running the place met us with his pet galah on his shoulder. He signed us in, giving us senior rates because we're over 60. A lot of the people staying at Karalundi are actually gold prospectors. We chatted to the couple that were camping next to us, and they showed us the gold that they'd found. This is our little cabin. Oh, it's pretty cute. TV, aircon, fridge, huge fridge, gas stove, kettle, microwave. What more could we want? Nice. For 120 because we're seniors. Wow, this is awesome. Such a cute little place. It was 140 a night, but because we're seniors, oh, you mean your clothing off the bike, not taking your clothing off.
So this is the rocky outcrop, the only rocky outcrop in this whole area full of rocks.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
I just got here to the rocky outcrop.
Oh, okay, so it's quite far.
Yeah, it's a lot of rocks. Rocks. I'm just gonna climb up. It's like about 20 meters to the top,
Okay.
and then I will see you
Back
back there in about 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, let's attempt to scale this mountain. Could be quite daunting and challenging, but you know what? I'm ready for everything. I don't think my wife can see me. I can't see her from this rocky outcrop. I'm just breathing heavily because it's a lack of oxygen, because I'm at such a high elevation, you know. Just look, those trees down there are 100 meters tall, so don't be fooled thinking they're only shrubs. Yes, I made it. Whew, that was challenging. This is only but vast and empty, and over there, Karalundi. It's actually an Aboriginal school and education centre. Interesting listening to the history and talking to the people who run it. One can get lost here easily if you just head out. And the likelihood of finding water is